everything as an artist starts with the music. Anything that you touch still reflects on music. I think what a lot of people forget though as artists is that it also starts with you as a person. So there's a lot of people that will tell you things, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to focus on what you're about. You need to know that. I'll just do this in an example, and I always use his name, and I don't mean to use it to say he was just cool or he made country music what it was or anything, even though he made it a big chunk of what it is. But Johnny Cash did not wake up one day and not be Johnny Cash anymore. Nobody colored him out with chalk. Nobody said, I'm going to go on my computer and I'm going to create an image and it's going to be this dude and he's going to be able to fill these shoes. You understand? He was the essence of himself. He was the drunkenness of himself. He was the spirituality of himself. He was all of these things. So as an artist, it goes way beyond just the music, even though it starts with that, because you have to have a purpose, and your music becomes the purpose because it's the vehicle that drives out of you whatever's coming through you. And I know that's getting a little deep, but when I start talking about music, I get deep. I mean, I'm an artist, and this is how I view things. So there's a process that you go through with all of this stuff. One of the things, I keep talking about the purpose, but that is the most important thing that you will ever know about yourself as an artist, because it will be sometimes the only thing that will wake you up in the morning to do another day of it. It is tiring. It is, digging ditches is probably even with that to me, because even though on the outside it all looks sometimes glamorous and it looks fabulous and it looks cool and it looks hip and it looks all of these things that it looks like, it takes a lot to keep those things looking that way. The behind the scenes stuff is the grueling efforts of you being out sometimes way too late, way past times that you don't want to be out with people that you don't necessarily want to be out with, but you have to go a little bit past this guy beside you if you're going to be successful as an artist. When you can get to that point where you can at least do that much with networking and being around people you don't want to be around and building a team, that's essentially what you're starting to do as an artist. You're starting to build your team. You're starting to go, well, I like this guy. This guy gets me. He understands what I'm about. He understands what my music is about. He understands my purpose. He gets it. That's part of my team. But you got to understand, you don't need your team until you know that your music is ready to make movement as well. Until you've collected songs from songwriters. Until you've written your heart out and poured it into a work tape that you feel like you can go to somebody and go, listen to this and tell me if you're getting from this what I think I'm getting from this. Until you feel something prior to taking it to somebody that you're trying to build this team with, you will be wasting your time. You got a lot of groundwork to lay before you can ever even get to that spot. So you bring your music in, you bring your soul in basically, and you tell this guy, hey, do you get this? He gets it. Well, that's part of your team. Okay, maybe he wants to manage you. All right, well, you don't really need a manager because you don't have anything to manage yet, but you've clicked with this guy and you want to stick it out with him and you're hoping he's going to stick it out with you. Well, here's how you test that. What is the guy doing for you as an artist? Like what you're doing for your purpose? Because it's your job to beyond believe in what you believe in. It's your job to make these other people believe in that too. And you don't do that by being fake or trying to put a bunch of fluffy around it. It's got to be real. It's got to be real stuff that's tangible, even though you can't really touch it. It feels so tangible that you can. So this guy's got to feel that way about this music. He's got to be that passionate about it. So you're building your team. You've built this guy. Well, guess what? You need this guy over here too, which is going to end up being an attorney. Because they're going to look over these things called contracts that are going to come from labels and publishers and managers and anybody else that you work with. Your best option prior to all of that, in the middle of waiting to build this team, is you probably should go to school. And I encourage everybody, yes, you can get out there and you can get in the muck of it and you can learn as much as you can learn, but go to school, learn what the contracts mean, learn what the phrases mean, learn what a manager is, learn what an attorney's going to do for you. Just learn about yourself. Spend time learning about yourself as an artist and figuring out why you're so special that you're going to add anything else that nobody has ever heard or has ever felt before. Why is that? And you'll finally figure out one day, okay, there's a million people here doing this, but I'm this one artist in this million people. And then that's the worth that you're bringing to the table that these people believe in. So I know I backtracked a little bit, but fast forward back where I was. You're building a team. Lawyers, publishers, writers, managers, stylists, people that do your hair. I mean, all of these things, but all of these things you cannot rely on. Some days you're gonna have a label say, you gotta shoot a video, you gotta do it, and they're not gonna be able to afford that. I will tell you, there's a video as an example that I have coming up. No one will do my hair. When I Like My Cowboys Dirty, we didn't hire an extra person to do my hair. I did it. It saved some money for the video shoot. It added some money where I needed it for other things. I'd rather hire somebody to do my makeup. You know, I'd rather somebody take care of my face and me not have to worry about that. But every artist works different too. So I can only tell you about myself as an artist and the pieces that I think all artists share, and that is the purpose, the music, and the team. So you wake up, you find these people, you're putting all of these things in place. You get a producer. A producer is somebody who understands you musically almost better than you understand yourself. For me, that was Danny Myrick. And we're talking years down the road of me being in town and writing and co-writing and going to school and meeting an attorney that I really liked and meeting somebody that I wanted to manage me and all of these things that I did outside of this before I ever started with a label aspect of it. So I meet this producer, and it was Danny Myrick who produced my album with me, who I felt like in the end almost understood me better musically than I understood myself. And that's somebody that can see outside of what you already think you have in front of you, because sometimes as artists we're this close to it, and we have to have somebody who's a little bit further away who can go, I think that's really cool, but if we try this, I think that we're gonna hook the emotion of it, we're gonna hook the heart of this song or this track. So you get your producer, you start working with them. Well, guess what? All of these pieces can blow up. The attorney, the manager, the producer, the writers, there's so many other little tiny things that you'll have to experience along the way that I could give you scenarios, but there's so many other little pieces. You'll write with somebody that you think is your soul writer, your good buddy, and then they decide they're going to snatch this song off and go somewhere, and you find out later down the road they've snatched the song, somebody else sung it, you didn't even know anything about this. So many mental things that you're going to deal with that I deal with by praying about it, because at the end of the day, that's my rope, and I hang on to it. So just know you're going to get hit with a lot of stuff, and one day you're going to wake up. I promise you, you'll wake up, and you will go, this is just not cool. This is not worth it. This is so not Johnny Cash. I thought I was going to come here, and I thought I was going to be an artist, thought I had something to offer, I thought all of these things were in place, my people were in place, and then now this person wants to move, and this person doesn't want to do this anymore, and I'm still chugging along and I'm doing what I'm doing, but now my manager they don't like my tracks, and I've gone in and I've done all this work. You might be recording more songs. So you think that you've got everything in place, and then this atom bomb comes in and it completely blows it all into smithereens. Well, guess what? You go, I got to start all over. You might. You might start all over 15 times until you get it right. And you might start over 2 times and you have all the right people. You might not ever have to start over, but you have to just make yourself be prepared for, I may not wake up to the most perfect day. Something is going to happen. It is the music business. It is inevitable for something to happen. These people have lives outside of what you're doing. Sometimes we're artists and we get so focused on what we're doing, and it's so important to us, and you don't understand why it's not so important to these other people. You know, I'm on stage, I'm exchanging this thing with myself and the audience, and this thing in between. I love it, and I love that we're creating this together. Well, your manager who's standing on the edge of the stage while you're doing all this may not even get that. They see, we can make some money down the line. I think they're a great artist, but they don't get that thing that you're so dug into, that you just would hang on tooth and nail until your fingers bled to make sure you kept it. They don't get that. So you are going to have all kinds of things happen. You'll have people, you're an artist, you'll have people look at you and tell you you're not an artist. You'll have people say, you know, you'll have somebody say, I think you write amazing songs. You'll have somebody else go, I think your songs are crap. This is just the truth. This is the truth. I am telling you the truth of being an artist. There's a lot of people that want to make it sound fluffier, and they want to make it sound more glamorous, and they want to make it sound all of these things, but at the end of the day, it's a purpose. And you better be able to wake up every day for that purpose, because some days that's the only thing that's going to be driving you forward. It's tough. It is just tough. It doesn't ever get easier. It gets busier. You lose more sleep, and then you're worried as the artist because you're the product, and you got to wake up and go, I got to look like roses and sunshine today. I don't feel like roses and sunshine. I've had 4 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted. I want to tell my manager and my team and everybody that they can go screw themselves. I want to have a day for me. Well, guess what? You don't get that luxury because you're an artist. You're creating art that you're exchanging with people that get it on the other side of those speakers. And that is what you have to wake up for, and that is what you have to believe in. And I know that that sounds probably not, maybe now you don't even want to do it. Maybe you're like, well, I don't want to listen to her. I want to listen to somebody. Well, go listen to her. You can do whatever you want to. It's America. It's great. You can do whatever you want to. I'm just telling you the woes and the reality of being an artist. I've been climbing a hill since I was 6 years old. I've been singing since I was 6. I started writing when I was 13. I started believing in country music when I was about 14, along the lines of Here and If Tomorrow Never Comes by Garth Brooks. Thanks for his inspiration, because it got me to Nashville. But it's been a long, tall, steady hill. And guess what? My boots never got lighter, and the hill never flattens out. I am still climbing, and I forever will be climbing, because there's not a day that you can give up on it. There's not a day that it won't test you. There's not a day that it won't challenge you. And you just got to get up. You got to take a deep breath. You got to take that second breath, and you got to go, I don't care what you said. I don't care if you think I'm an artist or not. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm doing, and I know the reason on the other side of those speakers that I'm doing it. And that's really being an artist, because that's believing in art the way that the dude in black believed in what he was doing. He was Johnny Cash. He didn't care if you thought it was uncool that he wore black. He didn't care if you thought he was in mourning. It was his thing. It was what he got about himself. The music was what he got about himself. And apparently there were millions of other people that got that as well. So if you're an artist, if you're a true artist, a real artist, then you create art from the inside out and even beyond that. And you have an understanding of that and a grasp of that about yourself. But you contain those things as being a human being, because you have to be a good person prior to just saying, I've got all of this music. Because if you're not, there's a couple artists that are in town right now that are backtracking. And they're backtracking because they blew up really quick. And blowing up really quick was great. They were famous. They made money. They bought farms. They bought trucks. They bought tractors. They bought horses. Whatever they did, whatever their plans were. But guess what? They had a bad attitude. Some of those songs and some of the things they were singing and some of the people they were in front of, all of that didn't work out for them. Things blew up around them, and as an artist sometimes you have to backtrack, and so they're essentially starting over. So just think what that would be like to start over as an artist that didn't work your way up through everything the way that you were supposed to. And in Nashville they call it paying your dues, and when they say paying your dues, they mean you are digging your trenches. You go to work every day and you dig your trenches, and you hope to God that when a storm comes through, you can fall in those trenches and you're going to be protected because you've dug some pretty good trenches out. But sometimes, if you don't pay attention to those things, you backtrack and, I don't know, the real stuff comes through. And when the real stuff comes through and you just decided you were going to have this image that you created and it's not really you at heart, then it can blow up. So you just better make sure as an artist that you are an artist, that you're leaving something that's going to be memorable later down the line. Not saying that I'm the best one to give you advice, but this is just my advice to you, because I have been through so many things in this town. I have so much more to go, and the hill never flattens out. I've got a thing in my office that was given to me by my record label, Route 49 Music, and it says, you're climbing the mountain. And that's been a joke between us, because there was a little girl climbing a hill, and they said that I reminded them of this little girl, but I'm climbing the mountain, and I will forever be climbing the mountain. And at the end of my mountain, I don't look for there to be a pot of gold or a bunch of recognition or, well, okay, I'm famous now, everybody knows my name, I'm a household name. I look for satisfaction in myself to know that I made the best music that I could make, that I was the best person I could be to people, and that I was true to that art at the end of the day, and that it gave people something beyond what I was getting out of it. Because if you're not doing that, then you are wasting a lot of music, you're wasting a lot of people's time, and you're wasting your own time. So if you're going to wake up, you just need to wake up with a purpose.